Let me in. Da! Just kidding, guys. Had to do a little bit of a fun little entrance, tonight because, as you can see my outfit, as I tweeted on Twitter, I got a brand new Christmas gift this year. Got a lot of clothes, but of course my favorite was no doubt about it, this button-down striped shirt with the Fiend's face all over it. Where's the Fiend? Where's Wyndham Rotunda? Well, I'm hearing rumors that, of course, he is working on some movies right now, so that may be delaying him in his arrival to AEW or Impact Wrestling or wherever he goes next. Please be AEW, please be AEW. But wherever he goes, I'm sure he'll be a much bigger hit and he'll get the much more respect he deserved than he would be if he would have stayed in WWE, of course. But yes, had to get a little bit of a touch here tonight. I'm doing this review in my dark bedroom. And of course, because I had to make it creepier, I have the Fiend all over my shirt. I love this shirt. I pop big time when I open this. I also did get a Demon King t-shirt for Christmas, and I also got a Usos Down Since Day One-ish t-shirt also. So got a lot of clothes for Christmas. A lot of stuff that I definitely wanted for a while. Lots of stuff I needed, but yeah. So, how y'all doing, guys? Belated Merry Christmas. You know, it is the Christmas season as well, and of course the theme is not seeming so joyous and whatnot with this, dark tone to this review. But again, only because I'm wearing the Fiend shirt, it had to be a little bit silly and whatnot. But yes, guys, what is going on as always? This is the Club of Demand 1993, and we are here live to review last week's episode of AEW Dynamite, the December 22nd, 2021 edition, the second to last edition of Dynamite of 2021, and also I keep forgetting, it's the second to last edition of AEW Dynamite on TNT, as the first show on January 5th, 2022 will be on TBS. It'll be moving over to TBS. And, of course, we're setting up probably 2 championship matches, which we're going to be getting the rematch with Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson. What will the stipulation be to that match? We'll talk about that in a little bit. And also, it looks like we're probably going to be getting the finals for the TBS Championship Tournament. We already have one person go to the finals, which I predicted. What about the second person? Who will it come down to for the TBS Championship for the women? We're going to talk about it all. We had a awaited arrival also, though. It was not the Fiend. It was not Wyndham Rotunda. We had someone else who we've been speculating for a couple weeks, of course, for a few months, since his contract was rumored to be ending with NXT, would be coming to AEW. And to me, this was this trio's true NXT call-up. So we'll talk about that as well. It was a good show. I would say it was it didn't quite hit the grade, because it was tough, because the stuff that I liked, I really liked. Everything else, it was good, but to me, it just missed getting that great grade for me. I was going to give this show a B+. I don't know why. To me, it just missed it. Just missed it. But it was still a great show, and I look forward to talking about this for sure. And roll through there again in my brand new attire, which again, I love this shirt. We got Tyler in the live chat. What's up, Tyler? He gave the show a C. I gave, of course, a higher letter grade than him, but, that's totally fine. Let's roll in and let's talk about this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. So, you want to start off with the good stuff? Let's start off with the good stuff. Let's start off with the opening match. Adam Cole, baby, versus Freshly Squeezed from wherever, weighing whatever. Once again, Freshly Squeezed, Orange Cassidy, taking on the man who is getting it on with the woman to my right here. I had to say it, but they're madly in love, I'm pretty sure. But yes, great match. You always give Orange Cassidy credit, the fact that he's definitely more of a character gimmick. He still knows how to make the character work with the wrestling. He is one of the best of has some of the best psychology in the industry today. And Adam Cole, Bay is a freaking rock star. And I thought these two worked really well together for sure. Of course, there was a point in the match where the Young Bucks and Best Friends came out to fight with each other to get them away. So then they continued on. Adam Cole, seemed to, be getting some upper hands. He did hit a Panama Sunrise, I know, on Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy got out of the way of the Boom. It's not called the Last Shot anymore. It's called the Boom, which makes sense for Adam Cole, who was supposed to be Adam Boom on the main roster, have a brand new look with it, but sucked. Orange Cassidy, towards the end of the match, he goes to the top rope, puts his shades on, hands in his pocket. Adam Cole, though, cuts him off with a uber kick in mid-air, and then the Panama Sunrise. And then I loved how he does he does a lazy pin. He puts both hands in his pocket to mock Cassidy and lays on him, and that's how he tries to do the pin. Cassidy, though, kicked out of the Panama Sunrise. It looked like things were turning around, though, as Cassidy was able to hit a beach break on Cole, but Cole kicked out of it. Cole would then roll out of the ring. When he rolled out came Bobby Fish. And he gets on the apron and he tries to distract the referee. He's jawing at him. Orange Cassidy is standing there just like, this is really the best you got. Come on. You're just giving me a few seconds here to breathe. And it was a nice close-up on Cassidy. All of a sudden, you hear the crowd pop. They're popping, they're going crazy, and of course, I'm instantly wondering, okay, where is he? Where is he? It was the same, here's the thing, it was the same feel for me. It reminded me so much of whenever Adam Cole debuted in AEW, in NXT. Two of his guys were already there that we already knew were there. And then basically when it's a moment like this, you're just like, okay, where is he? Where is he? That's when Adam Cole debuted in NXT and the Undisputed Era was born in NXT. Well, this time we have Bobby Fish, the man who we wonder these days, how much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish? How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish? How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish? How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish? How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish? Run. We're not supposed to be doing that stuff dressed up as a creepy character. But, nah. Let's get cut to the chase. The crowd was popping. You knew he was there. And he was. Adam Cole was rumored to be having a surprise present coming, basically. And it was, indeed, the Violent Artist, Kyle O'Reilly, the third of the original Undisputed Era, made his way to AEW. He did not stay with WWE. Thank the Lord. Even though, of course, Roderick Strong was an eventual addition to the Undisputed Era, this was the core, the main, the original trio of the Undisputed Era. Red Dragon, the ones that was known, those three of them together, going around, the wrestling promotions before NXT. To me, this was the true main roster call-up for the Undisputed Era. Could you imagine if these guys would have stayed in WWE? I mean, yes, they were already broken up, even though Bobby Fish never really had a story of where his allegiance lied with the broken up Undisputed Era. Of course, as he was out injured and came back, had a couple of brief singles matches as a babyface before he was released. I think, wasn't he the first one released? I think he was. I can't remember. I think he was released before Adam Cole left. So, obviously, and the funny thing was, yeah, it had been that, because when they first brought Bobby Fish to AEW, I was like, okay, but then they bring in Adam Cole, And then they start using Bobby Fish and Adam Cole together. And I'm like, okay, the wheels are turning here. Then, of course, they get Kyle O'Reilly, who came in and he takes out Orange Cassidy, leads Adam Cole to hit the boom to get the win. Afterwards, we had O'Reilly snap and beat down on Orange Cassidy again. Adam Cole stops him. Now, here's the one nitpick I'll say about this. I like how, for a second, they showed that there's still some tension with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Because it makes sense. The last time these two were face-to-face with each other was back in August, and they were fighting. They weren't friends. So, yes, this was Adam Cole's surprise present or whatnot, but I think, I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow how they're going to address this when they still kind of imply there is tension between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So, I'm wondering, so that's like the hole that needs to be filled in here. So, I don't know, again, I don't know what they're gonna say as the reason why this is a surprise, yet they're not on the same page. But obviously, they're going to eventually build them up, and like I said, this is basically, like I said, the Undisputed Era's real main roster call-up right here. But they brawled with best friends, and then, of course, the interesting part was the Young Bucks came down. And they basically stood in between Adam Cole and Fish and O'Reilly. So Adam Cole was like conflicted, like who he really went with. Were they going to stick together as a unit? Will they coexist and be the Undisputed Elite? Or is this going to be Adam Cole siding with his buddies Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly? Which maybe the story of Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole not being on the same page could come into effect to this also. Or will Adam Cole maybe bring them all together for the time being, and then cause some type of a split or friction whenever Kenny Omega comes back. You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? My light's not too bright, so it's kind of getting hard to see my creepy clothing here. But yeah, he made it. Kyle's here. I mean, Roderick Strong, he's Cruiserweight Champion. I don't think he's leaving WWE anytime soon. But, like I said, not that I liked Roderick Strong with the Undisputed Era, but, again, this is the core three. The core three of the Undisputed Era. The core three that did their work around the world. I'm excited to see what they do in AEW. Like I said, this to me was the Undisputed Era's real main roster call-up. Like I said, you should imagine if they would have stayed in WWE and got called up. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish would have probably been stuck to the 24/7 championship scene. Adam Cole was supposed to be called up, get his head shaved, have his name changed to Adam Boom, and be Keith Lee's manager. I think as a single star, he probably could have gotten at least mid-cards. But for crying out loud, Adam Cole, freaking rock star, Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Red Dragon, they kill it together. They did that, total elimination modified type finisher on one of the members of Best Friends. It was awesome. Like, when Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly feuded with each other this year, it was okay. It was not as personal or high of a note as I expected it to be. Like, even though Kyle O'Reilly went over, I didn't feel like it made Kyle O'Reilly feel like a legit main event player in NXT. It did. Like, the gimmick he had, like his Cool Kyle gimmick, it was kind of a little more of like a mocking of Orange Cassidy, I felt like. I just felt like, it was good, but it could have been better. So, I honestly do hope someday they do try to do Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole again. Give it a few years, though. Like, don't do it within the next year or so. Like, give it maybe, 2 or 3 years, maybe, before you try doing that story again and kind of, making them more on a legitimate level. Because Kyle O'Reilly right now, going back to being a heel and him being part of the era again, it feels a lot more him. I don't know why. To me, it just feels a lot more him. So, I'm excited to see what the era does in AEW. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Adam Cole and the Super Click, or Adam Cole, and Undisputed Elite. Whatever it is, it's going to lead to a lot of big things. A lot of big things, and I cannot wait to see where they go from here. Eventually, we are going to get like a Red Dragon and Young Bucks match. We're probably going to get a Adam Cole and Kenny Omega match. I'm excited for that one for sure. A lot of good stuff to come for sure with Kyle O'Reilly's addition to AEW. I am very excited for that for sure. So we have that. Then last week, and then we get first we get a highlight reel from Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page 60-minute classic from last week. Excuse me. Tony Schiavone then goes to the ring to interview Hangman Adam Page. It is announced that the rematch will take place next Wednesday night, January 5th, 2022, on the TBS debut show. Which a lot of people were surprised. They thought they would leave it for that January 8th Battle of the Belts special they're having. But Tony Schiavone's in the ring with Hangman. Tony puts the match over and says, in his opinion, Page would have won with just a few more minutes. Page says after 60 minutes, nearly totally spent, he was handed the title back and went backstage and thought it was funny that in his 3 years here, he never felt like less of a champion. The only thing he feels about that match is disappointment. Out comes Bryan Danielson, who mocks Hangman and says the fans who should be disappointed because he kicked his ass for 60 minutes. And if anyone should be champion, it should be him. But he's not going to come out here and cry and say, and he's going to have his rematch next week and he's going to kick his ass yet again. But Danielson was like, I may have hurt my leg a little to take on John Silver 2 weeks ago, but I'm not going to make that mistake again. In fact, I'm going to play safe and not wrestle again until the rematch on January 5th. But there's another problem. That is that Hangman Page, let me do something real quick here. I can get a little more light on me again. I haven't pulled out this light for a while. Just for heck of it. Wait. Yeah, cool. Just get a little bit more light here. But here's the problem though. If Hangman Adam Page stalls for another 60 minutes, then we're right back to the same problem we're in now. With the rightful champion, once again, empty-handed, and this piece of cowboy shit in the ring with the title. But he has a resolution, which we're thinking, maybe it'll be, like an Iron Man match. I think a lot of people want an Iron Man match. Maybe like a no time limit match, like Falls Count Anywhere, or just something a little more, a little more guaranteed to help us, have a winner. Even though, of course, how could you not have a winner after 60 minutes? But of course, it shows how good both men are. But Bryan suggests judges if the match goes to a draw. Judges. Not gonna deny, I was a slight bit not disappointed, but I was just like, okay, like, yeah, it's kind of like, it's different. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's very like MMA style. My honest opinion, though, if they're going to go with judges, why not do something like NXT UK does for the Heritage Cup, and have like call it like the British Rounds match, or like a British Rounds match, or something like that. Because even, of course, with the pinfalls and whatnot, they're still judges. I don't know why. Just to stand up, if it goes to 60 minutes, then judges. To me, that just gives away the fact that it's going to be 60 minutes again. And I said this too before, I like that they've really protected Bryan Danielson. They've really made him huge so that anyone who does get a victory over him, it will feel huge. Because I really don't think he should be the one to take the title. As much as I love Bryan Danielson, my favorite wrestler of all time, as much as I love the guy, I don't think he should be the one to dethrone Hangman Adam Page. I really don't think he should be. He does not. Bryan Danielson is a Shawn Michaels at this point. He is wrestling to have excellent wrestling matches. Why do you think his match with Kenny Omega at Grand Slam was not for the title? Because all he cared about was having a wrestling match. So he doesn't need to win championships. Like I said, he is just there to hold on here. He is mainly here to just put on great wrestling matches. He does not need, by any means necessary. Hold on. There we go. I plugged my extra light thing into my computer. That way, it'll be able to keep a stronger light on me. He is not there to win championships. He's just there to put on clinic of a wrestling match. So I thought, okay, this is but I keep saying before is also they can't keep having. There's already 2 draws, and he's had 2 draws in within 3 months or whatnot. You can't keep doing these draws because it's going to make his matches start a little more obvious. If you want to do draws, yes, space them out, but every big match he has, it's going to feel a little repetitive over time. So that's why I said, if you wanted to do judges, maybe make it a little more interesting and do something like British rounds, rules or whatnot, the 6 3 or 5 minute rounds or something like that. And yes, it's kind of like Iron Man style, but also at the end, you could still I don't know. I would like that be a little bit spiced up in my opinion. But, of course, he suggests judges. But Hangman says it's funny because he thought of all kinds of stipulations because Bryan dragged him out into deep waters and tried to hold him under. But in the final seconds, if the ones that counted more, he swam and had just 3 more seconds, he would have drowned Danielson as he had just hit him with a buckshot lariat when the time ran out. But if we keep the time limit and Bryan wants judges, fine. Let some old guys some paydays, but make sure you pay them well in advance because they won't earn it. He's come too far and spilled far too much blood and given way too much of himself for the title to have some prick sit at the ringside and tell him he's not good enough. That he's a B+ player, which of course is obviously reference to 2014 when Bryan was feuding with the Authority, and he was called a B+ player, which of course that was one of my favorite pops of the night for sure. So if the question is, can Hangman beat the American Dragon in less than 1 hour? In 2 weeks, the answer will be yes! Of course, you can't start doing the yes chant because, it's not AEW's, but he can make a little references here and there, which I do love that. But we'll see how that rematch goes next week. Again, like I said, I would have liked them more than just judges. Like I said, British rounds maybe with judges. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting to me. Or just Iron Man, straight up Iron Man match. We'll have to wait and see though. We'll see what's to come with Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page. We'll see. We go backstage, we see the Pinnacle hanging out, where MJF thanks Shawn Spears for his assistance, but he gets on Wardlow because Wardlow wasn't doing enough to protect him from Sting and company. And then he was seeing how intimidating Wardlow was about to get. MJF decides he'd rather blame CM Punk. And he's not worried about it tonight because he and FTR are family, which is something Punk doesn't know about, apparently. Him, Darby, and Darby's creepy clown uncle aren't going to be able to coexist because everything has to be about Punk. And when it's not, that's when the real CM Punk comes to play. The fact of the matter is that Punk is rustier than Darby's knife he uses to skin animals, and the nice guy mask is slipping. When Punk decided not to shake his hand, he chose early retirement. So how dare you not honor the legendary MJF, according to MJF. And Harwood says he has no problem with Punk. He did have a problem with him until he threatened his family. You're looking at the three kings of pro wrestling, the three wise men, I guess. Who has gold? Who has frankincense? Well, I mean, technically right now, since FTR is a AAA, actually, I'm sorry, they all technically have gold, because the Dynamite Diamond ring for MJF, remember, because he's better than you, and you know it. And of course, FTR is the AAA Tag Team Champions. And he doesn't, he's saying how Punk doesn't have the balls to kill a king. They are the absolute best unit in the world, because when you're pinnacle, you're always on top. Wardlow has another squash match where he squashes Sean Dean, and then Sean Spears attacks Dean with a chair afterwards, and goes nuts. He goes completely nuts over that. We didn't have, of course, a hype video for Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara from this past Saturday Night Rampage. We'll talk about that in next episode's edition of Dynamite, about what happened at Rampage. But we definitely, of course, have to talk about, though, this next promo with Dan Lambert, who is in the crowd with the Men of the Year. He quotes some Shakespeare, and he speaks of the responsibility of justice on behalf of leaders such as himself, Lambert. He runs the largest and most successful MMA gym on the planet and tries to make the most deserving the most successful. But Tony Khan, though, no, he's a little different. He has a buddy system going. If you're his buddy, you're given every chance to shine. But if you're not, you get opening matches and vignettes your whole career. He talks up both Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, and he says that one of these will be the next TNT champion. And they're not going to need any help from the owner of the company to bring the title back to America's top tag team. He also, though, mentions Cody Rhodes. This man, Dan Lambert, mentions that even Dan Lambert cannot get Cody cheered. He goes out, basically calls Cody a dick, and he basically implies that what we all have seen recently, no matter what, no matter how much heat they have, nobody can get Cody Rhodes cheered at this point. Cody Rhodes, again, is the newest... Okay, spoiler alert, Cody Rhodes, we're going to get to it now. We're going to get to this now. Cody Rhodes won the TNT Championship from Sammy Guevara clean this past Friday. And apparently he got booed out of the building. I'm sorry, Saturday. He was booed out of the building. He's a 3-time TNT champion. If you're not going to give the title back to Sammy Guevara, give it to Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page. So underrated. Love them two together as a tag team. One of them deserves a title. At this point, again, give one of them the title, please. I beg you, give one of them the title. Because who wants to see Cody Rhodes have a longer reign with the TNT title? Again, Cody Rhodes, despite he will not admit it, he will not acknowledge it, he needs to be a heel. When Dan Lambert can't even get you cheered. Heck, I'm pretty sure if they try to do Cody and MJF again, MJF will probably get the same reaction he got in Long Island, New York if he faced Cody Rhodes. Because nobody in there, not even your mothers, not your fathers, not your grandfathers, not your recently deceased relatives, nobody wants to cheer Cody Rhodes right now. When Dan Lambert can't even get Cody Rhodes cheered, you know you got a problem. But I'm just saying this right now. Cody Rhodes is now the new TNT champion. Whoever from the Men of the Year, Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page, put that TNT title on one of them. I mean it. They're both underrated. I've been waiting for them to have a match where they kind of get the rub, because they've been getting matches against people who obviously need the rub too, to keep their stock up as well. But if there was a time to give one of these guys a big win, I mean, okay, I'd say if I had my pick, go with Ethan Page. Scorpio Sky has been tag team champion, and he's also pinned Chris Jericho twice. I think Cody Rhodes, if he should drop the title to anybody, give it to Ethan Page. But I love the fact that oh man, like, Cody got booed in his hometown. He's got booed everywhere he's gone, and he even can't even get booed and get cheered with comments from Dan Lambert. Just saying. Where else are we here? Oh yeah, we have Tony Schiavone and Dr. Britt Baker at a Christmas party. He mentions that Britt has never beaten Rio, who are her upcoming opponent. But she points out she's bigger, stronger, the champion, and has Jamie Hayter on her side, which there's been a little bit of tension between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker recently, after what happened with Hayter's match with Thunder Rosa. But Britt built the division from the ground up, and she's the pillar of the division, and Rio isn't going to dethrone her. Which is all very true, of course. If there was one woman, again, to build a division around, definitely Dr. Britt Baker. Like I said, a lot of people are thinking they're going to have Britt and Thunder Rosa battle at Revolution. I will still say wait till Double or Nothing. Wait just a little bit longer. Like I said, I love Hikaru Shida. And to me, her and Serena Deeb have been having their best work. Like, it's definitely Shida's best work. I mean, when she was champion, she was great, but let's be real, the women's division was still being built up while she was champion. Britt Baker, despite the fact that at the beginning of her championship reign, there was not a true babyface, there was not anyone as over as Dr. Britt Baker, despite the fact she was a heel, she still, her reign, she has established a women's division. And like I said, if she didn't have a year-long reign, I think Britt deserves a year-long reign also. That's why I would like to see her be champion until at least Double or Nothing. And then she'll probably drop it to Thunder Rosa. But of course the story goes simple. Thunder Rosa has a match still with Jade Cargill. I think it's taking place tomorrow night. With Thunder Rosa will have a match against Jade Cargill. And the moment, this is why I fear they're going to do Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker at Revolution. Because the moment Thunder Rosa is not going after a championship, not the TBS title, she's coming straight for Britt. She is coming straight for Britt. Why else wouldn't she? Wouldn't she? But we'll see what happens, of course, with all that. We also got a video package for the Owen Hart Cup tournaments, which that will be awesome for sure to see. Against, of course, AEW can acknowledge Owen Hart. Martha Hart does not want WWE to acknowledge him at all because of what all went down with his death and everything. Speaking of but actually, yes, the tournaments will conclude at Double or Nothing in May. And then, of course, we have the semifinal matches for the TBS title with Ruby Soho and Nyla Rose. I don't want to get into it, but there was a fan, of course, who had a very rude sign to, make remarks towards Nyla Rose and her personally. I don't want to really get into it, which apparently he was kicked out, and I think he's been banned, thank goodness, because that was very, inappropriate of him to do. But Nyla and Ruby had an excellent match. Vicky tried getting involved, but it was not enough to help. But the match ends when Ruby Soho hits the No Future with a kick. They were on the top rope. She did the kick. It used to be called the Riot Kick. Now it's called the No Future. She did the No Future in mid-air with Nyla Rose, and that's how she finishes the match and pins her for the win. Ruby Soho, one of my 2 picks to win, is heading to the finals of the TBS Championship Tournament. She will face either Thunder Rosa or Jade Cargill. If I had my choice, I would say, I would like to see Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa. Save that for another day. But I think personally, I don't think Thunder Rosa's winning the TBS Championship. I really don't think she is, because again, she's going to be the one dethroning Britt Baker soon. I think they should go with Jade Cargill and have 2 very fresh faces go for the TBS title. And those are my 2 picks I thought would should win this. Either Ruby Soho or Jade Cargill. Personally, since, I've seen her for a lot longer, I've seen her been underutilized a lot longer, I'm still going with Ruby Soho, I would say. Jade Cargill, though, would be a nice surprise to win this to me. She's still, she's still blossoming and everything. She still, has a little bit of work to do, but she's definitely in somewhere. And, I'm not opposed to her being champion either. But, like I said, I think Ruby Soho should get that championship first. So, Ruby Soho is my pick to win the TBS championship. We have a video package then where Serena Deeb claims that Hikaru Shida cheated her way to a tainted victory at Winter's Coming because Deeb got pushed into an exposed turnbuckle, and that this feud will continue until she's satisfied. So yeah, this long series of matches with Deeb and Shida not over yet. I'm sure we're gonna get some type of stipulation match coming up. Maybe if they do like a beach break again in February, or if not, then maybe they're going to drag this out till Revolution. We'll see. Like I said, these two have had great matches. I just still wish they would have held off on that 50th victory until maybe last week. Because again, if you want to say it was a tainted victory, that would be a little more interesting to grasp at Serena Deeb getting more heat getting more heat and having some more heel momentum built up by having Shida's 50th win look tainted. So that would have been interesting, of course. Malachi Black then has a match with Griff Garrison, and he wins with the Achilles lock, and he takes out Brian Pillman Jr. after the match. Good match. Gave Griff Garrison a little more offense than I thought, but not quite. Of course, the House of Black is coming, so we'll have to see, of course, who gets in the match there as well. We have a 10-man tag match. I'm sorry, no, not that. I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. We have Big Money Matt Hardy and Private Party backstage. Jurassic Express were announced number 1 contenders for the AEW World Tag Titles. But he has Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn of Private Party. No, I'm sorry. He has Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party taking on Jungle Boy on Rampage. And if Isaiah Cassidy wins, the Private Party is now number 1 contenders for the tag titles. And then they say some stuff. And then the main event, we got CM Punk, Darby Allin, and Sting, which CM Punk came out in like surfer's face paint, like similar to what Sting wore years ago. But we have those 3 taking on the Pinnacles, MJF and FTR. Amazing match. The face paint alone was awesome as well. My favorite part of this match was definitely the finish. And of course also Sting was doing, again, some crazy maneuvers. Greensboro was going nuts for him. He did, at 63 years old, he did a plancha off the top rope to the floor. And then the match ended with Dax Harwood getting hit with a GTS to hit the GTS. Harwood then was knocked into Sting's arms for a Scorpion Death Drop. And then Darby Allin did a freaking coffin drop, jumping from one end to about 3/4 of a way across the ring. Like, it was basically almost a repetition of in the Elimination Chamber Gauntlet match in 2018, where Seth Rollins did a frog splash on The Miz 3/4 of the way across the ring. Except this time it was Darby Allin doing a freaking coffin drop. It was sick. It was very sick. There was also a point in the match where, again, MJF for the whole match was avoiding Punk. They even ran through the crowd, chased after him. And then MJF also complained on commentary that Punk was dodging him and whatnot. But hey, the Pinnacle came up short this time, and Punk, Sting, and Darby had an excellent finish, an excellent main event for the Holiday Bash edition of AEW Dynamite. I gave this show a B. Okay, the other stuff, didn't really lead to much, but it was still good. Kyle O'Reilly's debut was excellent and everything. And of course we had the rematch for Danielson and Hangman coming up. And of course we have Ruby Soho also advancing. So, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to change it. I'm going to give this show a B+. I had fun this show. Fun show, B+. I'm going to change that, of course, once the stream ends. Live chat. Who we got here? Tyler's saying how many more title shots will Bryan keep having? Again, I get it. I totally get where you're coming from. But he's not winning it this time. He's not winning the title. I mean, I don't think he should have. I could see them maybe doing one more. I can see them maybe doing the rematch. But I really can't see them passing up on doing another match at Battle of the Belts, though. I really can't see them leaving that match off. So I think there's going to somehow be a third match at Battle of the Belts. And then that'll be the end of the feud with Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page. But we'll have to wait and see. But that's basically it. Wow, I talked for almost 45 minutes. I can't remember the last time I talked for 45 minutes for AEW, but I'm definitely going to try to review Dynamite this week before the weekend. My plans for New Year's are unfortunately up in the air because my girlfriend just got sick recently, so my plans are up in the air. I'm going to be honest and say I don't know if I'm going to have time this year to do any end of the year videos. I may try to do one, but I'm not going to do multiple end of the year awards. One, because I just really lost a lot of interest in wrestling this year, so I feel like I don't have enough room to say for the best and the worst. But like I said, I just don't have the time. So we'll see what happens. But I'll definitely try to go live this week to do. I'll definitely try to go live this week to review this week's episode of Dynamite. Tomorrow night's episode. But that's my thoughts, guys. I gave this show a B+. What are your thoughts this week's last episode of Dynamite, the Holiday Bash? What are your thoughts on Kyle O'Reilly's debut, and where do you think that's going to go with the Undisputed Era and the Elite? Make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video, subscribe for more content to my channel, follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. Until then, guys, check it out. I'll see you all later, but tonight I'm not saying peace. Tonight I'm saying, let me in.